Hello, and welcome to Digital Essentials, a course designed to help older adult caregivers and recipients of care navigate and understand the digital world. This course is presented by Senior Planet from AARP and is part of a CDC Foundation project. My name is Ilse Duarte, and I am a technology trainer here at Senior Planet. It's great that you've joined us for this series, and I hope you get a lot of the whole series and particularly this session today. It is the Internet of Things for Health and Home. It is part of a course that demonstrates how digital tools and platforms can help make everyday tasks easier and be used to improve physical and mental well-being. Today, I will tell you about the Internet of Things, what it is, what is the Internet of Medical Things in particular, its applications in healthcare. I will talk about devices and platforms that are directed at caregivers. We will talk about voice assistants, voice to text, and I will show you some popular devices. I will talk briefly about the future of voice tech, and we will end with privacy tips. What is the Internet of Things? It is a giant network of connected devices, servers, computers, smartphones, tablets. They connect device to device, people to people, people to devices. These devices are connected to the internet. They either have the capability in themselves to be connected to the internet, or we can make them into smart devices by connecting them to the internet. They are monitored remotely. That may mean from a different room, or that may mean from a different location altogether. For example, if you have a smart thermostat and it is connected to your telephone, from whatever room you are, you can say, set the temperature to 75 degrees, or you can do that even if you're not in the home. So from a different room in your home or a different location altogether. Experts predict that there will be 75 billion smart devices by 2025. And there's a lot of money in this industry. $1 trillion were spent worldwide on the Internet of Things just in 2020. What are the applications of the IoT in healthcare? It is used a lot for tracking and remote monitoring. So you may have a smart cuff that measures your blood pressure. And that is because it is a smart device, it can be connected to your telephone, and on your app, on your telephone, you can record those readings and send them to your doctor. That's one example. There are many others. Doctors can treat illnesses remotely. For example, somebody may have a pacemaker or an insulin pump that is connected to their body and is injecting insulin, but also sending information to this device and then to the doctor about how much insulin is being dispensed and when. The IoT is also used for personal health care. You may have a step counter that you probably wear on your wrist, or maybe it is on your cell phone. And those trackers that are on your wrist, your smart watches, are examples of wearables. We will show you, talk about a few wearables later on. Smart sensors can be right on your smart watch. For example, you can have an EKG or ECG right on your wrist if you have a smart watch that has that capability. There may be sensors around your home, maybe cameras detecting if you had a fall, for example. There are multiple sensors. Smart pills are those that have sensors in them to track how that medication is passing through your digestive system and is sending that information to a device that your doctor can monitor. Some of these smart pills have little cameras embedded in them, and then they send images to your doctor. And finally, on this slide, robotics. We know of surgical robots that allow for highly precise incisions, easier to recover. They allow for cameras to go inside the body, especially the abdominal cavity, and show doctors on a screen very clear pictures of what they're dealing with during surgery. So these are all examples of applications of IoT, and I will talk more about some of these later in the session. Let's talk about connected medical devices, those that are on our body or near our body, tracking, monitoring our vital signs and helping us in other ways as well. So I mentioned fitness trackers. They can be, for example, Fitbit. There are others that are on your wrist, but they may be apps on your telephone as well. So you're tracking how much exercise you're doing, and that information is collected on your app and stored there, and that information can be shared with a healthcare team or your caretaker. Sleep trackers are usually bracelets or rings that are tracking your sleep patterns, and they don't replace sleep studies, but they do detect warning signs. Maybe there's something in your sleep cycle that's off, and that's something that the app will alert you, and you can alert your doctor. We have a picture of Bluetooth hearing aids. Bluetooth is similar to a Wi-Fi connection, but at short distances, maybe about 10 feet. So you need to be near that device to be connected to your Bluetooth on your telephone or on your tablet, usually on your telephone. And these hearing aids amplify sound, and they also filter a lot of noise, and then that enhances your hearing. We have a picture of a blood pressure monitor. It's from a company called Withings, and they have other monitors too. For example, they have a scale where, of course, you find out how much you weigh, but also it tells you your heartbeat, your heart rate. That particular device, the smart blood pressure monitor, the cuff is $99. It costs $99. If you go on the Withings website, you will find that there may be some discounts available to you depending on what kind of programs you're enrolled in. And also, I forgot to mention that the hearing aids can be quite expensive. They go for a few $1,000s, and your insurance may cover part of it or not. The same is true for the smart blood pressure cuff. The bottom illustration is a picture of a continuous glucose monitoring device. And this one, we do know that Medicare may have some coverage for this particular device. We should go to that website right now. So this is it, Dexcom continuous glucose monitoring. And this may be of interest, especially because this substitutes the pricking of your fingers. So you have basically three parts to it. You have the auto applicator, so you would apply this sensor. It goes under your skin. Then there is the sensor itself, and it is a transmitter. It will transmit information either to this device, which is a standalone device, or you can pair this device with your smartphone or a smart watch, and these will be your display device. And I wanted to show you what it looks like. So you see that it is quite small, and it'll be right under your clothing. It'll be quite discreet. So going back to the slides. Finally, on this slide, we have heart monitors. They can be connected, not under your skin, but usually a strap around your chest, or maybe something that you can put inside your bra, and that detects your heartbeat. And since it is a smart device, it is connected to the internet that can be paired up with a telephone, and through that telephone app, you will have that information stored on your telephone, and that information can be shared with your doctor. So now I'd like to call your attention to some devices that are directed at caregivers. And you may have heard or seen conversations about these devices and platforms on Facebook or other social media. And these may be of interest to you. So let's talk about how they work. So the person who is receiving care would wear that bracelet, like that watch looking like a device on their wrist, and that detects where they are, how they're walking, if they're sitting, if they're standing. So this sensor is picking up all these movements and looking at the person's patterns, and it can detect or maybe warn about a potential fall. So this is fall detection and protection and prevention, I'm sorry. So you can see how important a device like this could be. The other type of monitoring system I want to talk about is video and activity monitoring. So instead of a bracelet, or in addition to a bracelet, you would have video cameras around the house that would be detecting this person's motions and hopefully prevent a fall, or if there is a fall, alert a caregiver right away. And the bottom image on our slide is an avatar. That female figure is an avatar, and she's an electronic caregiver. This particular one is called Addison. That's her name. And at the very bottom, you see that she's saying, if you're ever having an emergency, say, Addison, help. But the way this is set up, you can interact with her in different ways. You can talk to her. You can say, Addison, I don't know if I took my medication. And Addison will tell you, yes, you did. And or no, you didn't. And the way they know is because of the video cameras that are set up and are watching this person who has this electronic or virtual caregiver. So this gives you an idea of how helpful these systems, these devices can be, but also the potential for the person receiving care to feel that they're being watched constantly, that they're being controlled, that their agency is being removed by all of these monitoring devices. So at Senior Planet, we don't endorse any of these products or platforms or systems, but we are telling you that they are available and that it is your choice to adopt them or not. If you think these are available to have, it is very important that both the caregiver and the person receiving care are on the same page, that this is welcome, that this has not been imposed on the recipient of care, and that everybody is comfortable with it. So something important to consider. Now let's talk about voice assistants. And these are our smart devices that can hear our voice, understand what we're saying, and provide the information we're looking for. The most popular voice assistants on our telephones and on our tablets are Siri by Apple, Google Assistant, Cortana by Microsoft. Actually, that's for a PC, that's for a computer, and Alexa by Amazon. So all those on the left are examples of software. Siri, the Google Assistant, has its own software. Cortana is software. Alexa is software. And we're going to talk about the devices that they go with. Suppose you have a smartphone. A lot of us do. Most people who have smart devices have a smartphone. We can use voice to text technology. That means that we speak and what we say is turned into text. Where can we use that? Apple devices and non-Apple devices. That's what Android refers to, a non-Apple telephone or tablet. So we need to locate that microphone icon. By icon, we mean an image that indicates to us pretty promptly what this is. So this is a microphone. So suppose I want to send a text message. Instead of typing the text message, I can tap on the microphone icon and I can say it. As I am saying my message, the telephone is typing up the message for me. You can see how useful that would be when you are engaged in some kind of activity, and it's important that you send that text message. You won't spend all that time, and you won't be removed from what you're doing to type the message. It will be typed for you. Once you're done, you stop the voice recognition task, and the text is there for you to just hit send to send. But with the same technology, you can do other things. You can set timers and reminders by saying it to your telephone using that that icon. You can make appointments. You can check the weather and news. You can control your music, turn up the volume, play a certain song. Earlier today, I opened my Spotify app on my smartphone, and I tried this for the first time. I would usually just type things up, but I tried the voice to text feature, and I just said, please play. I don't think I said please, play a song by a certain artist. And I had a series of results, and it just started playing 30 minutes worth of songs by that artist. You can open apps, and you can play games too. You can say, find a certain game, or open a game app if you have one on your telephone or tablet. So on our telephones, we have this voice to text capability, but we also have our phone assistants. If you have an Apple telephone, an iPhone, you have Siri already installed on it. It comes with your telephone. It's also called a native app. It is your voice assistant for Apple telephones, so the iPhone, and for your tablets, for your iPad. For those of us who do not have Apple devices, you can use Google Assistant. In that case, if you have an Android phone or tablet, you need to download the app, but it doesn't take a long time, and you set it up as well. But also, just in a couple of minutes, you'll be able to set it up. So how do these voice assistants work? First, you need to wake them up, because they're not listening to you constantly. If they are, there's a problem, and it needs to be fixed, but they are set up for you to wake up these voice assistants. So if you have an Apple device, you will say, hey Siri, or if you have an Android, you will say, hey Google, and those assistants will be ready to take your voice command. One thing about Siri on your iPad, I have my iPad right here, and it's not set up for me to say, hey Siri. It is set up for me to press down and hold down on my home button. Siri, what is the weather forecast for today?
It's currently clear and 79 degrees.
And I can see on my screen what the temperature is at the moment as well. So I show that to you so you have an idea that if you say, hey Siri, and you don't hear anything, it may just be that you need to go to settings and switch from the button activating Siri to your voice activating Siri. You can use these voice commands to update your settings. For example, you could say, hey Siri, turn on my Bluetooth. Hey Siri, turn on my Wi-Fi, and other commands. You can open apps just as you can with your telephones. With the voice to text command, you can do that also with your voice assistants on your telephones, and you can do other things as well. You can look up something on the internet instead of typing something. You can use your voice assistant to ask a question, and or Siri or Google Assistant will give you that answer. These voice assistants, that software is set up to understand your normal, natural speech. Sometimes they don't understand, and you can just repeat what you said or say it the second time around more slowly, more loudly, or maybe in a different way. They are learning as you talk to these devices. They are learning your speech patterns, and they do get better over time. So we can issue voice commands on our telephones, but there are other devices as well. These that we have on our slide are home assistants. They are standalone devices that can be connected to the internet. They're set up to be connected to the internet, and you can pair them with your telephones and with other devices that you have at home. The one at the top is the Amazon Echo. It's 4th generation, so it's been improved. There have been new features added, and they have Alexa built into them. So again, Amazon Echo is the device, it's your hardware, and Alexa is the software. Alexa is the voice assistant that you will be talking to. You will be saying, Alexa, do this, do that. Other popular devices, other popular home assistants are Google Nest and Apple HomePod Mini, and you see the prices on our screen. And we also have models with a display. We'll talk more about what they can do, what we can do with them, but you can see that they are these home assistants that we can issue commands to, but we can also see a lot on that screen. We'll talk more about that soon. All right, so what are these home assistants like? What can we do? They're speakers, and you can see how they're built. They are built as speakers. You can say, Alexa, play a certain playlist, a certain song, a certain artist. You can ask for the weather report, the news report, just as with the other voice assistants on your telephone. The same thing happens here. You can set timers. You can say, Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes. Show me recipes for chicken, and so on. With these devices, you can also control smart home devices. They're also called hubs because you can pair up a number of different apps and devices with these assistants. So they will be your hub to issue commands on a variety of devices around the house. For example, if you have smart bulbs around the house, you can say, Alexa, turn off the lights in room 3, for example, or turn off all the lights. You will need to learn the lingo. Is it turn off all the lights, turn all the lights off, or these are machines. They need to learn to understand you. So you may need to learn some special lingo as well. But that takes just a few minutes or maybe a couple of days. Just as with the other voice assistants on your telephone, you can ask web-based questions. For example, Alexa, what are some museums near my home? I'd like to go to a museum. What are some museums around here? So it'll use the internet to give you those results. You can make calls using these smart speakers. So remember, I told you can pair these with other devices. You will be pairing or syncing this assistant with your telephone. So this assistant has access to your contacts. You might say, for example, Alexa, suppose my daughter's name is Cecilia. Alexa, call Cecilia, and it will make that call for you. You can use this for fun too. You can play games, you can play podcasts. As I said before, you can play music. It's not just for chores, it is for fun too. You can call Uber from these voice assistants for these home speakers. You can shop with them too. And that's exactly how they came about. But the first Amazon Home Assistant, because Amazon wanted to make it easier for people to place orders on its from its website. So this was another way for us to have very quick access to shopping Amazon. And now it started out that way, started out as a way for you to have better access or easier access to Amazon as a shopper. And then it became this much bigger multiple use device. What about those Home Assistants that have the smart display? So they do everything that the other Home Assistants do. And on top of all of those functions, you can see, you can watch videos. You can watch the whole weather report. You can make video calls with the assistants that don't have the screen. You make a regular telephone call with these assistants with the display. You have a video call. If you chose to set a timer, you will see the countdown right on your screen. The same with alarms. You can look at your recipes, especially if the recipes include pictures. Those are my favorite recipes, with the pictures of the final product of the dish. You can see those on your display. And remember, I mentioned that you can pair these devices with other smart devices. So if you have cameras in the house or right outside by your door, you can see those images right on this smart display Home Assistant. And if something is at your door and you have a smart bell or those cameras connected to your doorbell, you will see right on this display who is at your door. And you, depending on what system you have, you'll be able to talk to them right from this device. This is the last device that we're going to talk about. And this is one of my favorite because it's a bit annoying when you're trying to search for something on your smart TV using your remote, and you can't do it by voice command. You have to type letter by letter what movie you want to see. This is not always the case. It doesn't have to be that way. There are smart TVs out there that have voice recognition capabilities built into them. And these use hands-free voice commands, and they have a remote finder via that voice command. So if you bought a smart TV and the software that came with it is Roku, you can say, "Hey Roku." Sometimes it's not the TV that you're interacting with, it's the remote itself. So in that case, you might have Google Assistant, or you may have Alexa. If you bought your Fire Stick from Amazon, you'll have that capability. So what we're showing here is, with that red circle, is that microphone icon, that image, right? That microphone icon. When we tap there, we'll be able to issue commands and say, find a certain show, a certain artist, even a certain platform. For example, Netflix versus YouTube versus Hulu. Let's take a look at a very short video.
If your Roku remote has a microphone button, you can control your Roku device and search for content through voice commands. And if your remote doesn't have the microphone button, you can always download the Roku mobile app on your smartphone and use the microphone button there to issue voice commands. To issue a command with your remote, press and hold the microphone button and speak the command normally, like this: search comedies. You can also search for specific movies or television shows. Find Monty Python and the Holy Grail, as well as favorite actors or directors. Search for westerns with Clint Eastwood. Besides searching, there are voice commands for controlling a multitude of other functions on your Roku device. You can launch a channel by saying launch and the name of the channel. Launch the Roku channel. And with some channels, you can even go directly to the show you want to watch by saying play, the name of the show, and on, followed by the name of the channel.
So you see that there's some learning involved. So you would need to know that it's launch a certain channel, not find, but that is something that you can learn pretty easily, pretty quickly. And there are ways to find out what these commands are. You can go to the website, you can go to your Netflix website, for example, or Hulu or Roku, and look up that information. So how does this all work? How does voice assistant technology work? Voice assistant technology is machine-based learning. It is a form of artificial intelligence. It learns every time we interact with it. Remember, I said that it looks for patterns. The more we talk to it, the better it understands how we talk, and the better it understands what we're asking for. When we ask a question, we get the answer in maybe a second or two, but in that very short time, the machine is analyzing the question and looking for the right answer. Voice artificial intelligence can learn accents and can be programmed for different languages. Some seniors have told me, oh, because of my accent, it's not working very well. The more you talk to this device, the better it'll understand you. And remember, if it doesn't understand you properly the first time around, say it again, maybe paraphrase yourself, maybe speak more slowly and loudly. These devices are learning each time you talk to them. What is the future of voice tech? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just want you to know that these companies are constantly looking to improve their products to better serve us and to keep up with the competition. So we can expect that in the future, voice assistants will differentiate better between voices, will filter out background noise better, and will understand accents better as well. What about medical voice apps in particular? They will be more efficient in supporting us with health and wellness reminders. They will be better equipped so that these avatars and these robot nurses will be better able to build relationships with with the people that they care for. And finally, I'd like to leave you with some privacy tips. Just to repeat what I said just a couple of minutes ago, the more you interact, the more these devices will know. They will not know a lot about who you are, but they will know about your habits, your what you do every day, what the products you use, the products you buy. And you may be targeted by Amazon, for example, or by Google for ads for you to buy the products that these machines know that you've been using because of this information that you have shared with them. Let's talk about Amazon for a while. When you talk to your Amazon devices, so you're talking to Alexa, these interactions are streamed to the Amazon's cloud. So all of this is stored. And as I said, these data are used mainly for marketing profiles. These devices may monitor how you use your products, but Amazon keeps your data in-house, encrypted, all in code, and this information is all secured. This is also true for the other makers, for Google, the Google Assistant, for the Apple as a company, for the Apple products. This is also true. If you want to know more about privacy, you can search Apple HomePod privacy or Google Assistant privacy, and you will see information on the Apple and the Google websites similar to what we're saying about Amazon. So these companies are doing their part to keep your information safe. Also, when you look up the sites that I mentioned, and you can also go to the Amazon website and look up privacy, you will see that as a user, you are able to look at the interactions that have been recorded, and you are able to delete those interactions at will. Information that is on the internet may be accessed by hackers. It's unlikely this information is all encrypted, it's kept in-house, it is secured. The way that security breaches happen, usually it's because somebody shared your credentials, your user ID and your password. So the best way for you to safeguard your information, your accounts with these smart devices is to have a very strong password. Store it securely, know where it is, and never to share it with anyone. Thank you for joining us for this session of the Digital Essentials course. Don't forget, this is only one session of the course. You can visit seniorplanet.org/caregiving to find the other videos in the series, along with handouts, instructional videos, and additional information. Goodbye.